computerized. From the Magic City, the sun and fun capital of the world, Miami, Florida, through the incredible speed of the NCR 315 computer, Warner Productions proudly presents the all-time heavyweight championship tournament. Hi, everybody. This is Murray Warner at the Miami Convention Hall once again for the 11th fight of the all-time heavyweight tournament. Tonight, the third fight in the quarterfinal round, featuring the Livermore Larriper, Max Baer, and the Brockton blockbuster Rocky Marciano. The all-time heavyweight tournament is made possible through the cooperation of the City of Miami, Mr. Nat Fleischer, publisher of Ring Magazine, Chris and Angelo Dundee, Mr. Hank Kaplan, ex-president of the World Boxing Historians Association. We'll be back in a moment with Guy LeBeau and details and some comments about tonight's fight. Back at Miami Convention Hall, and here's Guy LeBeau.
Thank you very much, Maury Warner. Good evening again, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like we're in for another great battle. Big, tough Max Baer versus smaller but just as tough Rocky Marciano. And there won't be any fight in our tournament with more fireworks than this one.
Marciano is certainly the much smaller of tonight's fighters, just 5'10" and a half and 184 pounds. Only 9 pounds over the light heavyweight limit. There are a lot of people here tonight who are thinking of this fight in good little man versus good big man terms.
But it's not quite that clear-cut. Marciano, in addition to being a fearless, go-for-broke puncher, is a dedicated trainer, a man who has dedicated his life to being recognized as the best fighter in the world. Baer has all of the advantage in height, weight, reach. Marciano is a slight favorite simply because he has always been the best-conditioned fighter around.
The Rock has a great record, Guy. One of the greatest that boxing's ever known. 43 knockouts in 49 fights. And a winner every time out. Had his opponents down 61 times in those 49 fights. And what a knockdown ratio that is. All offense, not much defense, just like Baer.
Now, the big Baer is 6'2" and a half, weighs 214 pounds. He has a reach of 81 inches. That's a full 13 more than Marciano, and what an edge that is. Max has been down 3 times in his career only. He has had his opponents in 79 fights down 71 times. Boy, he's a hitter. Quite a hitter. In one 4-year period, Baer won 29 KOs. 2 of the men that he beat died as a result of his punches. Frank Campbell, right after their fight in 1930, and Ernie Schaff went on to fight Primo Carnera, then died after that fight, never recovering from the beating credited to Max. Baer had Carnera down 12 times in their fight, and he eventually took Carnera out in the 11th. Heck of a puncher. Maybe one of the top 2 or 3 ever to lace on a glove.
Baer knocked Jack Johnson, the dancing master, down 3 times in the last 3 rounds of their first fight in the all-time heavyweight tournament to score an upset victory over the Galveston Giant and move into tonight's quarterfinal. Let's listen to an excerpt from that fight.
Max Baer opens up, hooks hard to the head. Johnson belts right along with him, strikes to the head. Johnson tries a hook to the head, misses, tries another hook to the head and misses that. And Baer in half a clinch hits the small headpiece of Jack Johnson with left and right. But Johnson is working the body over with 2 good shots under the heart. Johnson has been down in the previous round if you just joined us, but appears fairly secure here. At the center of the ring, both men trading left hooks to the head. Max belts the body fiercely, certainly, and again Johnson can't get free. There's the top, there's the left to the heart, there's the right to the chest. Johnson falling back, he's in trouble again. Johnson takes a wicked straight right to the mouth, and Johnson again is down, sitting on his pants across the ring. Let's pick up the count for you. He looks all right. 6, 7, he will get up at 9, but Johnson is down a second time. Baer wants to get at Johnson, who's moving behind Ruby Goldstein for proper and balanced protection. Ruby pushes Max away. We're in the closing seconds of this round. Max throws a left over the head of Ruby Goldstein. Ruby violently pushes Max Baer away 3 steps and stands between Johnson and Baer. And Jack Johnson has gained invaluable time because of Baer's attempt to get in and hit him before Goldstein once and 2. Baer now rushes at Johnson as Goldstein completes the break, but Johnson steps to his left and hooks to the head. Baer puts on the break quickly and moves to the clinch. Goldstein breaks them up immediately. And on the break, Max Baer immediately punishes the body, rips the left to the rib, pushes Johnson away. He wants firing room for the big haymaker. A devastating right and left to the head. Johnson clutches for him and just manages to get him at the bell. So that's how Max Baer outpointed the Galveston giant, Jack Johnson. We'll be back in just a minute.
Marciano also pulled something of a surprise in this tournament, knocking Gene Tunney down 4 times and winning 9 rounds from a man who was a pre-tournament favorite of many to win the championship. Rock started his pro career with 16 straight knockout victories and won the heavyweight championship in a blood-filled 13-round knockout of Jersey Joe Walcott, and that was in 1952. And he held the title for 4 years, beating such top-notchers as Ezzard Charles and Archie Moore before he retired in 1956. Let's listen to a little bit of his first-round match with Tunney.
Menaces to right, dances around the Rock. They spar. Rocky starts a right. Tunney lands a left jab to the eye and hard. And Rocky drives a hard left to the head, which sends Tunney spinning. And Rocky is charging. Rocky is driving. And here he is sending rights and lefts to the head. Tunney is in trouble again. He seeks rope support between the corners. He pulls Rocky towards him. Rocky nails the body. Hooks a left to the face. A right to the jaw by the Rock. Tunney drives a straight right to the head in retaliation. But look, Tunney's down under a mean left to the head. Tunney is down, sitting up against the far rope, staring aloud. Here's the count, 6, 7, he'll make it. He is up at 9, and incredible as that seems, he is up again in a third knockdown. He is on his feet, probably groggy. How can he take this and go on? Ruby Goldstein looking him over. Tunney getting the extra seconds of respite. Al Goldstein gets Rocky's gloves wiped and also Gene's. Tunney has to put that left in play again as a defense. Moving backward from Marciano. 2 lefts flicked into his face. It's the 3rd time Tunney's been knocked down this fight. And Rocky now moves in, fires a left at the head. It's partially blocked, but unbalances Gene a brief moment. You can put a fence up around Rocky's hooks and they'll come busting through. Here's the Rock getting underneath the left jab and hooks short lefts or rights to the head. Tunney sends the uppercut to the chin again and pushes Rock away, jabs the left to his mouth, dances away. About 8 seconds left, less speedily this time, but Rocky follows in and he is a frustrated cover, I can tell you. Tunney stabs a left to Rocky's teeth. Rocky moves in again. Tunney puts the handcuffs on him at the bell.
We asked Marciano himself to evaluate Max Baer.
Baer could punch, and he was tough, and he could take a punch when he wanted to. But, of course, he got in the wrong sort of thinking and tried to guard his looks and tried to guard his body, so much so that he didn't give 100% of himself all the time. Again, on a good day, Max Baer would have been a threat with anybody.
How about Rocky Marciano?
Can only say that I enjoyed it. I liked it. I never really knew fear. I never was really hurt. And I just think that in my prime, I could have fought with anybody alive.
Now, there are lots of guys around who agree with Rocky on that. So we were talking to Chris Dundee, the boxing promoter at Miami Beach, about Rocky.
One of the toughest fighters that ever lived. Rocky had one good thing going for him. He had condition. He was always in great condition. And Rocky could punch. Rocky could hit you in the arms and paralyze you. And he could take a good punch. The only bad thing about Rocky was that he was small for a heavyweight. As heavyweights go, he was not a big man. He was a small fellow. And his arms were very short. So Rocky had to depend on his strength and stamina and heart. He had all heart.
What about Max Baer?
Max Baer could take a good punch. He could give a good punch. But he was a happy-go-lucky type man. He never took his business seriously.
Training makes a big impression on fighters, Guy, and so we asked Joe Louis, the great brown bomber, about Baer.
Baer had the tools and everything, probably been the greatest of all of us, if he had wanted to, you know, but he just couldn't, he just wouldn't take the fight game as serious as I've taken it, a lot of other fighters taking it.
Joe, what about a fight between Joe Louis and Rocky Marciano?
Well, I can say that very easy. Marciano beat me when I did.
Oh, no, that wasn't when you were at your best. I'm talking about when you were 28 years old.
Oh, I don't know. Marciano's type of fighter, I think, is good enough and strong enough and takes a good enough punch to fight anybody. And I don't think that no one, regardless of the dempsey of me, can say that I could beat Marciano. I think the fight would be it's close. Have to be a close fight because he's too strong and he takes a good punch and you just can't say that I could beat him. I would like to say that I would fight him all right, but who will win that I wouldn't know. But I like to be paid for the fight. I think we would draw a little money though.
Miami Convention Hall has seen a few customers these last few weeks, and I guess we're going to see a few more before this tournament is over. We've got a big crowd here tonight, and there'll be another big turnout next week when Cassius Clay takes on Jim Jeffries in the last bout of the all-time heavyweight tournament quarterfinals. Tonight's winner, as I'm sure most of you know, meets the Clay Jeffries winner in the semifinals. We'll be back in just a minute from ringside with some more opinions on tonight's fight. Back at ringside at Miami Convention Hall for tonight's third quarterfinal fight of the all-time heavyweight championship, Rocky Marciano, the Brockton blockbuster, against Max Baer, the Livermore Larriper. Should be one of the most explosive fights ever matched.
Here's Angelo Dundee, who manages and trains fighters right here at Miami Beach in the 5th Street Gymnasium. And Angelo will be working next week in Cassius Clay's corner against Jim Jeffries. Now, we want to find out from Angelo what ideas he has on Max Baer.
It was one of the most thrilling fights I ever saw. I saw him fight, and to me, he should have been a great fighter, not a good fighter, because he can knock you out, he can box you, keep you on the end of his long left hand, he can hurt you with body shots. Pena was vastly underrated.
Angelo, do you think Rocky Marciano was underrated too?
The Rock was the most underrated heavyweight of all time, because to me, The Rock was not given any credit for his effectiveness. In other words, he was very effective getting away from punches, and all they ever said was he took punches. I saw him hurt fellows with punches on the arm. I seen him. He's the only heavyweight that I know could punch out of a slip and hit you with 10 punches on the way up out of the slip. In other words, it's a very difficult maneuver. In other words, I seen him when he looked like he had two left foot. He couldn't even walk properly. And I think he did a fantastic job, and he is the only heavyweight champion to retire undefeated.
Almost everybody sees Max Baer's potential.
Let's ask former champion Jack Sharkey about it.
Well, he's a rough, tough guy. Be a heck of a guy to meet in the dark streets some night, because something's got to happen.
Nat Fleischer of Ring Magazine doesn't think Baer has the instinct to finish of a fighter of Marciano's caliber.
Max Baer was what you would call a comedy fighter. He was a man who did not take his work too seriously, and once he had control of a fight, he never went after his man in an effort to end it, as would men like Fitzsimmons and other greats of the past.
All right, Baer could hit, though, couldn't he?
Baer could hit. Baer was a very powerful hitter, and if it weren't for his playboy tactics, would undoubtedly have gotten into the first 10 of all greats.
Jack Kearns, Jr., the son of Jack Dempsey's manager, Doc Kearns, is here with us at ringside. Jack, what's your opinion of Marciano as a contender in this tournament?
Rocky had the tenacity that he was another fellow like Dempsey. He stayed in there until he came to fight. When you fought Rocky Marciano, you had to bring your lunch because you were going to be there a while. And if it was 5 rounds or 20 rounds or 50 rounds, Rocky'd be in there, winging away at the end just like at the beginning. And he was a dedicated fighter, this man. He would leave his wife and family for 3 months at a time. And this is a great sacrifice to make, especially to a family man like Rocky. And he would do nothing but train and train hard and fight harder. Rocky was a great fighter. The Joe Walcott fight showed this. When he was losing, all the way, and came on to win.
Good hitter?
Oh, yes. I don't think Rocky was as great a puncher as they say for a one-punch knockout. He could take you out with one punch, but Rocky'd hit you in the elbow, and the next time he'd hit you on top of the head, and the next time he'd hit you on the side and in the back or wherever he could. And he'd hurt you every time he'd hit you. And it was a combination of getting hit all over. Fighters would say when they got through fighting Rocky that they just hurt everywhere. It wasn't just lumps on their head, it was everywhere.
He just hit anything he could see.
Anything. And not a dirty fighter. Rocky was just throwing punches. If he hit you low, you couldn't stop to argue because the next punch is coming right after it, and the referee didn't have time to step in. He was still punching.
We asked Jack Sharkey about his fellow New Englander, Rocky Marciano.
When he hits you, you know you got hit. The guy was a terrific fighter. He fought what there was. He, too, ran out of talent. So they say that for a time there, they were always teasing and tempting and whatnot for him to make a comeback. He really could have made himself $1 million in one fight with Patterson. And the man was a terrific puncher. There's no question of doubt. And on top of that, you could hit him his best Sunday punching. Of course, that was discouraging as the devil, because the first thing you do is say, the heck with this. I'm not going to try to belt this guy. I'm just going to box and just let the fight go as along. And if I can outbox him, I'll outbox him, and that'll be that.
You're not going to knock him out.
Never mind knock him out. You can't even knock him down.
Well, the fight's just about ready to start now. The fighters are in the ring, and here comes ring announcer Paul Berman to the center of the ring. Let's listen.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is our main event, the third quarterfinal fight of the all-time heavyweight tournament. Scoring is on the 10-point must system. The 3-knockdown rule has been waived. Mandatory 8-count on all knockdowns. Your referee, Ruby Goldstein. In this corner, wearing white trunks, weighing 184 pounds, from Brockton, Mass., the Brockton Blockbuster, Rocky Marciano. And in this corner, wearing black trunks, weighing 214 pounds, from Omaha, Nebraska, the Louisville Hurricane, Max Baer.
As Ruby Goldstein calls the fighters to the center of our mythical ring for instructions, we'll be back in a minute with round one. Here it comes, the battle of the hard punches and iron jaws. The immovable objects meeting the irresistible force. There's the bell, and here's Guy.
Thank you, Murray Warner. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. They come out to the center of the ring. Baer's towering over height, emphasized with stark clarity here. Marciano will have to have a ladder for some of his shots. Rocky opens up at once, and here's an impossible ploy by the Rock. He tries dropping Baer with a straight right to the jaw, and it surprises everybody in Convention Hall, Baer most of all. And it tickles his sense of humor, I think. Baer lands a light right at the body in turn, but is large enough now when he wants to sustain the Brockton Blockbuster, and they clinch way back in Baer's corner. Baer is the one kind of prize fighter against whom there can be an emotional plan of battle as well as any other kind. Now they're separated in the center of the ring. Baer seems to have seen the humor of Marciano's unorthodox early blast. Now everything is set again. Baer stands 6 feet 2.5 inches tall. Marciano, a diminutive 5'10 and a half. An enormous disadvantage of height to a giant of the agility and hitting power of a Max Baer. Still, Tony Galento, the little beer barrel from New Jersey, roughed Baer up considerably. They circle in the center of the ring. Marciano has his left hand out, placed in ready guard position, while Baer's vaunted looping wallops to the head. Marciano off his feet and placing a good hook to the nose. Another left hook to the nose by Marciano, completely unlike his usual fighting style. Baer sticks a good left to Marciano's face, and Marciano takes it without apparently even the slightest recognition. And Marciano triggers the powerful right again to the face of Baer. The circling now continues. Marciano will apparently not be as easy to hit as Tony Galento was by Baer. Marciano has fairly good defensive moves, though he has not got a reputation for having good defense at all. Now, Marciano, left hand held high, rushes in at Baer. Here are lefts and rights being triggered at Baer's body, but Baer returns a good hook to Marciano's head, and now I see that Marciano is bleeding at the nose. Rocky is bleeding at the nose. Marciano falls back a step, throws a light left to the head, another left to the head by Rocky Marciano. His right hook to the head is a grazing one as it follows immediately. Here's Baer returning a hook to the body. Marciano's nose is bleeding. Baer sends a long right to Marciano's body. In both cases, Marciano's body is in flight, and the blow lands with light effect only. In case you've just joined us, this is Rocky Marciano and Max Baer, and this has to be one of the most power-laden fights in the series. Now they're in a clinch right over this microphone. Rocky's nose is bleeding along its right side. I can see that clearly. Around to see nothing startling except Marciano's opening hook to the face, which was intended to shock Baer into mistakes, or at the very least to put him on notice that the name of the game is fight. Of course, Rocky's nose is bleeding, and that's something also. There's the bell.
Rocky jolted Baer with that opening right and landed more belts, too, but Baer has opened that vulnerable nose of the Brockton blockbusters. There's the bell. Here's God.
Okay, Murray, just for a change, Rocky Marciano has not come flying across the ring to begin round two. Baer is in tonight's fight at 214, Marciano 184. The reach advantage of Marciano is horrifying. Baer has a reach of 81 inches, Marciano about 68. But the ring has seen countless such malcomparatives wrench victory from defeat. At the center of the ring now, Baer loops a hard left aim to the head, and Marciano slips beautifully inside of it. He has a good deal of skill, make no mistake about that. Now Marciano steps back and forward and rips a hard left to the body. Baer punches back with a good right onto the heart. Marciano moves back a step again and to the right. And once again, he is in perfect range for Baer's left hook. But Baer crosses him up and throws a looping right instead and scores. Here's Marciano retaliating with a right to the body, not hard, and they tie each other up. Baer is regarded as having possibly the most potential of any heavyweight for greatness in the history of the business. And Marciano is one of the favorites of this tournament. On the break, Marciano fakes with his head. Baer responds by sending the long left out, but calling it back in time. Marciano puts a light left to the body and moves away. Baer is not in a crouch. Marciano is. Baer wishes to keep his head out of range. Baer rushes Marciano, but it's Marciano who hooks a right to the jaw, and Baer coming back lands Marciano's head with two murderous shots, and there goes Marciano's eye. That's the second cut that's bleeding on Rocky, one for each round. In the first round, the nose, and this time, it's his left orb. Marciano now sends a hard left hook to the midsection of Baer. Baer's terrific shots at Marciano's head were only clear to me because I saw Marciano's head being bossed from side to side by the power. Otherwise, Rocky seemed unconcerned, but his eye is cut. Now here they are on the center of the ring as they break. Baer is at long range, trying a left jab to the mouth. Marciano leaps forward. Marciano drives a torrent left hook to the body of Baer. Baer hangs two left hooks to the head. Here's a straight right to the mouth by Baer, and Marciano, virtually in reflex, bangs a hard-looking left hand to the mouth of Max. Baer hooks the body hard with his left hand. Baer drives right to the chin of Marciano. Baer scores again with a hard left to the head of Marciano, and Marciano will definitely have to take better cover than this. About 30 seconds left. You can't play hit me and I'll hit you with Baer. Marciano now lets Baer push him off with a left jab. Marciano runs to Baer. There's a light right to the body, and Baer ties the rock up. My guess is Marciano has never met anyone with the physical acumen of Baer, considering size, weight, height, power, and durability. The one redeeming feature being eliminate height, and Marciano has all of these things in a fancy package. There's the bell.
More blood spilt in round two. Marciano's eye this time. The round even, as both men are indicating that sometime someone is going to feel the canvas tonight. Here's Guy LeBeau.
When Rocky Marciano fought Gene Tunney to get into this battle with Max Baer, he had to make a come-from-behind run. Now at ring center here is Rocky starting fast. There's a straight right to the head and hard. Baer has to dance backward. Rocky is even a smaller target now in that very, very deep crouch. And here he comes walking forward on his haunches, something like a duck waddling, you might say. Here's Max Baer stepping away, but jabbing in his face. One more jab by Max Baer. Rocky rams the head again as he leaps up, but takes a good solid left and right to the head in return swiftly. And the two men tie each other up in the center of the ring. Most of Rocky's fights with major opponents who were all-round fine fighters, he permitted them to go ahead and had to beat them later. They were such as La Starza and Jersey Joe Walcott. On the break now, they move into a neutral corner, circling very swiftly. Baer jabs a left to the face. He has had Marciano's nose and eye bleeding, and the eye is beginning to trickle again. Here's Marciano blocking the next jab, and Marciano driving a solid right to the red. Baer winces. Baer retreats, but Baer is throwing a left and right on the head of Marciano, not powerfully. Rocky breaks up that attack, flailing his hands in front. Hard hitting has been about even, maybe a bit of an edge to Rocky Marciano, and if Baer gets into trouble, I see now he will have some modest use of the left jab, which unfortunately is not part of the Rocky Marciano arsenal. Out at the center of the ring again, Marciano and Max Baer, and we have a jam-packed Miami Convention Hall. Here's Baer going to the jab series again, jabbing the Rock, but receives a straight right hard to the body by Marciano. Baer misses a hook over the head. Marciano drives right and left to Baer's face, and Baer definitely is gaining new respect for Rocky Marciano as the puncher. Baer had in his camp disdained the idea of the possibility of a KO at Rocky's mitts. Now in the center of the ring, Baer stabs at Rocky. Marciano, though, leaps to deliver a straight right hard to the mouth. Baer, in turn, puts a left hook to the head, but misses the right, and the Rock is immediately underneath to tie Baer nicely for the clinch. Waiting in the wings to carry on in this tournament are such greats as Lewis, Dempsey, Jeffries, and Clay. On the break now, Marciano rams a straight right at Baer's chin, and it's still a great surprise instrument. Baer falls back. Rocky has a small opportunity and is up to the task early as usual. Here is Rocky shooting the long right to the body. Baer jabs, hooks a light left and right to the head, but the Rock is in now with the extra gasoline. Rocky sends a powerhouse left, a hard right to the head. Baer tries to catch Rocky's hands. Rocky extricates a left hand, rips the head with it. Here's another solid left to the head. Baer dances off the ropes and jabs, and Rocky now has to go back to long range. And now Rocky dancing in again, fires a left to the body, tries a right to the head, is tied up at the bell.
Rocky jolted Baer in round 3 as the smaller man landed terrific shots to the head and body. Baer showing new respect for the small man's punches. There's the bell. Here's Guy.
Max Baer and Marciano in a match which in its time would have filled Miami Convention Hall, Madison Square Garden, and the Astrodome. Here brought alive by the NCR 315 computer. Up front and center, Baer quickly beats Rocky to the offensive. Here is Max and a haymaker left to the Brockton blockbuster's mouth, and Rocky has been caught with an ice bag. Rocky has to retreat. Max charges into the ropes. Max laying 2 rights to the body at the same time, and Rocky immediately has to tie him up. In his computerized match with Jack Johnson, Baer had the quick rush to the offense, and the Galveston Giant never could, virtually never did, again get the aplomb so as to command the fight. Here's Goldstein separating them in the center of the ring. Here's Max Baer faking a left. Rocky jabbing the chin and lands with power. Now Max is in a semi-crouch, getting down to Rocky's size. He's either trying to draw Rocky's attack to the head or trying to effectuate an attack of his own to the body or to some other advantage point he may see or be able to get to. Baer in that semi-crouch, moving to the right now as the great belter from Brockton, Massachusetts, moves forward virtually with stealth. Here's Rocky lashing out, jabbing the face and head of Baer. Baer's answer, a rocking left and right to Rocky's head. And while Rocky gets set to counter, Max dumps the body hard on the left lane and moves to a quick tie-up, which he gets. Baer has the small fused rallies now, and Marciano is frustrated and ties him up. Just when the Rock has something going for him, well, Max pulls something, and the Rock immediately has to tie him up to think about it. On the break, Rocky is first to score. Here is a good straight right to the mouth by Rocky Marciano. Baer hooks back hard to the head with the right. Marciano decides to go for the midsection and moves forward. Hooks left and right to the body, but not with particular power, I see. Baer lets himself be bowled back to the ropes. Baer fires a solid right to the heart of Marciano. Rocky puts a light right to the body, and Max is using the ropes as a support and nothing more. Baer lets the Rock come at his body, as did Tony Galento in their very fierce fight long ago. Only the Rock is not as fierce here. He lands a light left and right to Baer's body, and Baer realizes that he cannot trap him into this ploy, so he goes into a clinch with the smaller Marciano. Incidentally, Baer, insofar as his personal record is concerned, is regarded as not being a come-from-behind fighter. He has to get out in front and then tries to stay there. On the break again, Baer moves himself back into the ropes. He carefully measures Rocky for a left hook, throws a straight right to the head and lands. Rocky ignores those two very powerful shots. He's trying to get back at Baer's body. He does. Here are two great bombs to Baer's midsection. Rocky continues to throw the heavy stuff. Here's a left and right to the body, a right under the heart. Two smashes go to the arms of Max Baer, and Rocky is having a fine finish to this round 4. Now they go into a clinch again on the ropes, and there's the bell.
I don't know how much longer those iron jaws will stand up to the pounding they're taking, but both these men are pounding each other around. There's the bell. Here's Guy Lamont.
Here's Marciano flying across the ring, and there's a good right to the mouth of Baer. Baer, smiling, ties the man up and cools him off real quick. Rocky Marciano really came out and plastered Max, but Max cooled him down. Now each man has been baptized with the heaviest fire, and the result could be the desire to continue to blast, or perhaps there'll be condonable conservative battle out of mutual respect. We'll see. Now out at the center of the ring as Goldstein breaks them up. Marciano again drives a straight right to the face of Baer, and Baer this time is forced to retreat again on the ferocity of the charge, but slaps left and right to the mouth of Marciano. He doesn't hold him this time. Marciano digs the left to the body. Marciano drives a right to the body. Baer merely trying now to stem this attack and set himself here in round 5. Now at close quarters, Baer pumps a right to the rib. Marciano's shorter hands are restrained, and Baer gains the clinch he wants. Marciano, you know, has the physical arithmetic of a baseball catcher. In fact, he did want to be a Major League Baseball player. Referee Goldstein, now speeding to the ropes on this side of the ring, has torn them apart, and I mean torn. Out at the center of the ring again, big Max Baer hooks left and right to the head. Marciano can't seem to get his attack started for the moment. Marciano goes back to stance again, his left hand held out in a semi-crook position, the right not too high. Marciano drives a good left to the body. Marciano tries another left there, but Baer blocks. But Marciano comes driving in with a left and right to the body immediately, and Baer is over on this side of the ring, now looking a little bit flustered. Nothing more, but definitely flustered. Marciano continues to fire at the body. Marciano lands the left. Baer touches everything else on his arms, and that's not much fun. Marciano seems half tired and then agrees to the clinch right overhead. And I can see that Marciano's nose is bleeding again. It appears to be the same cut he sustained earlier, but now busted open a bit more. Marciano is subject, remember, to the cut, remember that, and Baer can cut a foe. On the breakdown, Marciano leaps to throw the straight right to the head again, but Baer is moving and crouching to the right. Baer digs a hard left to the chest of Marciano. Marciano, on the other hand, is wailing at the belly with lefts and rights. His hitting is strong. Baer now lets himself be pushed to the ropes again. I don't know really whether he's let himself be pushed, but there he is. Baer hooks a right left on the ear. Baer hooks a left to the chin. Marciano seems unmindful of the blows. He has zeroed in on Baer's body, but Baer breaks left and right at the body of Marciano. Baer misses a left jab. Marciano now in a short push toward Baer. Baer leans on him, but Baer now is against the ropes right up ahead. Baer sends several chops to the body. He is not trying to push Marciano off him, and they go into a clinch. There's the bell.
That cut nose doesn't seem to affect Rocky's punching power. If anything, it seems to spur him on to greater effort. There's the bell. Here's Guy.
The NCR 315 computer is telling us that Rocky Marciano is showing an edge on the delicate semantics of greater power. Also, an edge on the fact that he has made a good early start. Out in ring center, Max Baer still allowing Marciano to take the lead. The Rock starts with a good left jab to the face, and then Marciano's attack is directed to the body immediately. Baer, however, stands his ground, and he holds Marciano at the elbows, and they move into a clinch. Marciano was only able to get a couple of fists landed. Nothing hurt, I don't think, and Baer had his man tied up. On the break now, Baer shoots a hard left to the chest of Marciano. Marciano misses a left at the head of Baer. Baer slipped that punch beautifully. Baer is fighting from a semi-crouch, which is fairly usual for him. Here's Baer again with two good strong hands, left and right to the body of Marciano, and landing in swift sequence. And I doubt that Marciano has taken the kind of body punishment that Max has meted out here at any time in Rocky's career. But Marciano's conditioning is simply superb. Now Marciano tries a good left hand to the body. It lands. Max ties him up, and they move to a neutral corner to my right. Marciano starts with natural strength and builds upon that with a well-disciplined routine. Here's referee Ruby Goldstein to pry them apart. Baer again on the break, rams a left hand right to the body, but Marciano is home quickly with a hard straight right to the face, and Baer has been jarred. Baer is jarred. Not hurt, but definitely jarred. Baer fighting back after a breath. Hooks a left over the head. Marciano comes in viciously at the body, but is not able to get power broadside at Baer. Baer loops the octopus hands around the little Rocky Marciano, and here's a clear case where Baer's supremely large arms stand Marciano off from further attack. Here's a clinch in the corner now to my left. Marciano's nose still bleeding, so is his eye, but I don't think we have to be concerned about that. Baer shows signs of having been in a fight. Hair askew, the rumpled look of someone who has been through something of a meat grinder. They work out now to the center of the ring again. Here is Marciano trying a left hook to the body. It lands. Baer, however, catches his hand, hangs onto it, and all the time he makes it seem, of course, that he hasn't got it in tow. But figure it out for yourself. Everybody laughing, and Max is just slyly smiling. Here's Baer's left, wailing the head of Marciano, and now Marciano is able to wrench free. Marciano steps away. The Rock comes back. Here is a straight right to the head by Marciano. That punch seemed to bother Baer. Once more, he can't seem to stop it, and it may stop him if it comes often enough. Here's Baer coming back to land a light left to the head. Marciano mauls the body with a hard left, and as Baer holds him around the neck again, Marciano rains left and right to the body. The flow's only of moderate power. There's the bell.
Cut on the nose and the eye. Rocky still managed to take the last round with those hard, ripping punches to the head and body. Now, Guy LeBeau.
Okay, Murray Warren. Marciano and Max Baer at ring center as the computer hammers out the story of these two terrific belters. And now, quickly, Rocky Marciano comes flying across the ring, drives a left to the body, has his right hand cocked, but Baer catches him in midair and moves into a clinch. Baer is regarded as a good, clean fighter as fighters go, but his antics can drive you crazy. Now the clinch is broken up at the center of the ring. Baer jabs lightly to Marciano's face, but Rocky rips a hard left to the body. Baer retreats again. No point looking down the barrel of that gun for the present, he must be saying. Rocky advances on Max in short steps, his body virtually squared at Max, something like a bear walk, though I admit I've never been that close to a bear, thank you. Max jabs the face again. Rocky hooks a torrid left to the midsection. Baer puts a hand out to stop the other hammer from landing. He's not fast enough, and Rocky rams the right through to the body as well. Max runs back a bit in retreat, with the crowd now warming to the blasts that Rocky is leveling. Baer seeks the clinch. He's usually at the trigger end of this kind of dynamiting, and he does not like this. Here is a tie-up to my right, and referee Ruby Goldstein goes to work. Curly-haired Max Baer, poker-faced Rocky Marciano at ring center. Baer now fires a straight right to the body. Rocky's shoulder is bowled back off that shot, and Baer sends Rocky reeling again with left and right to the body, and Rocky is suddenly taken by surprise with Max coming back to the offense so suddenly. Rocky definitely felt that bashing. He wants a clinch. He wants a clinch. He was taken by surprise. He gets it, and referee Ruby Goldstein moves out to a neutral corner to break them up and take them out to the center of the ring. At the break, Rocky mussed a little bit, misses a leaping thrust at Max's head, and Max makes them all laugh again as he motions, "I told you so," or something like that, to Rocky Marciano, and Marciano moves back, caps his glove, advances again. Baer feints left. Baer fires a beautiful right hand left to the jaw, and Rocky is down. What a sudden turn! Rocky is down. He'll be all right. He'll be up at 9 and is. But what a sudden reversal of form. Rocky, who had it his way at the early part of this round, was suddenly down after being bashed to the body by Max Baer. His gloves are being wiped off. Rocky wants to fight, but he's being restrained for the moment. And now they're set out, and the green light is given at the center of the ring. Apparently, Baer hit the nerve, and the lights went out. And now Baer is ready to go. Fans don't have to push the panic button for Rocky Marciano yet. Here's Marciano coming back strong. Here's a left to the body by Marciano, a right to the jaw by Marciano, and Baer is fighting him back. Here's Baer with left and right to the mouth, a left to the body by Max Baer. Rocky Marciano is strong, however. Here's Rock with a good dash to the head. He takes a good right to the head from Max Baer, and what a round this is. There's the bell.
Iron jaw or not, those looping rights to the head dropped Rocky to the mat, and the Brockton Blockbuster looked surprised as the seat hit the floor. There's the bell. Here's Guy.
Man, look at this. Rocky Marciano comes sailing across the ring, driving a hard left to the body of Baer. Baer puts a good solid hook to the jaw, and they tie each other up at once. Baer again wants to cool the little fellow from Massachusetts off, and good. Only a little while ago, Rocky was lying in the center of the ring. He was schneidered at the power station and at a surprise party. But apparently Max Baer cannot effectively and lastingly damage the fellow from Brockton, Massachusetts. Referee Ruby Goldstein has them out at ring center again. Here's Marciano starting at once, ripping a right and left to the head. He wants to finish Max right now and quickly. Baer is standing toe-to-toe with the Rock. Baer has his legs wide apart, standing square to Rocky's body, equally square, and both are proudly looping lefts and rights to the body. Max drives a wicked left to the head. Max makes Rocky step backward as he charges in from the right. Rocky sends Max's head back with a wicked right to the face, but Max doesn't seem to feel the power of the blows, and Max is here with a mean right to Rocky's head. Here's Max, back to the left and right to the head once more. Max is Rocky giving ground, definitely. Baer blasts the body with the right hand. Baer hooks lightly at the head, misses, but there is a straight right at the body of Marciano by Max, and Rocky's body is spun to the side. Baer following in quickly with that big right hand cock. But Rocky recovers. Here's Rocky coming back. Rocky throws a hook lightly to the head and the face, and they move into a clinch. Here was a fine return by Rocky to begin this round, and he makes a fine return from the rally of Baer. Rocky, who was down in the previous round, now facing Marciano in the center of the ring. Referee Ruby Goldstein comes to break them up. A Marciano bout usually lasts 4.9 rounds, and a Baer battle usually goes 5.5. In the center of the ring again, Marciano takes off quickly, and here he rocks Baer good with hooks to the head, left and right. Baer retreats. Rocky fires a hard left and right to the body. Baer lowers one guard, but Rocky is at the head immediately. Baer is hurt downstairs, and now Rocky is ripping the head. There is a straight right, a looping left, again a right, a left, and a right, and Baer is gone down. 1, 2, 3, 4. One knee, 6, 7. He is up at the count of 9. Up at the count of 9. Again, a sudden reversal of form. Baer was giving everything at the beginning of the round. How badly hurt Max is, I don't know. We'll have to see as he comes back into action. Ruby Goldstein has taken them out into the center of the ring, wiping Max's gloves off, and they go. Baer looks flushed, but now I think not as hurt as the knockdown might indicate. Max is on his horse at once. Rocky swarms in the flying Baer, covering all the alleys, and we have another clinch. Baer wants to stay alive in this round, in this fight, and just alive. He's lucky that he has not sustained the usual serious damage of Rocky's blow. There's the bell.
Last round, it was Baer's turn to be surprised as the Brockton Blockbuster slammed in the payoff punch and took his turn, decking Livermore Lariper. Wonder who'll be next. Here's Guy.
Okay, naturally, Rocky comes standing across the ring, but big Max Baer has both of the long hands up and out there, and Rocky cannot find a spot for the cocked right hand, and Baer then loops his long left around Rocky's neck. Rocky keeps the left hand free, churning at the body, but Baer ties him up. Baer looks okay. Remember Baer's individual responses to any given situation. He'll sometimes go into a deep depression if a fighter he knocks down is not counted out. Baer has come out very well to the surprise of all. He is moving with good speed, and now at the center of the ring, sparring well. He throws a left lead, but Marciano jams an uppercut to the head. It was intended to carry good power. It would have sent Baer reeling back against the ropes. but Baer moved against it, and Rocky's power has been denied. Now Marciano slips, and Baer ties him up. Marciano did not go down. Referee Ruby Goldstein comes tearing in to the center of the ring, and now Baer is doing a little bit of refereeing and pushes Marciano back, saluting him as he does. It's the kind of thing that's made him the darling of his own fighting era. Now referee Goldstein lets them go again. They're sparring at the center of the ring. Baer, first standing straight, sends Marciano to the deep crouch. Baer punches over. A left hand to the mouth. Now Baer punches over to mimic Marciano in the deep crouch. Marciano has no discernible reaction. Marciano puts a light left on the head. Baer returns a light left to the head. Marciano springs forward again. Baer catches him well, and we have a tie-up. But Baer keeps a hand free, pumping his good right hand to the chin. Baer doesn't exactly grapple with you right away. He makes you pay a little something anytime you come inside those long arms. On the break by referee Ruby Goldstein, it's Baer with a swift, hard right to the mouth. Marciano halts for the moment. Baer feints to the left. Marciano, though, delivers a hard shot to the body, and Baer moves back a step to take a breath. Marciano keeps on driving to the body. Baer misses an uppercut to the head as Rock comes in close. Baer hooks a hard left to the head and lands, and Marciano pile drives left and right to the midsection. But Baer unconcernedly rallies with a pretty right to the mouth, a left to the jaw by Big Max, a left to the head by Baer. Marciano misses a left to the body. This is remarkable for Baer. He is making a good game run of it. Marciano reaches the chin with a leaping left hand. Marciano drives a right hard to the temple. Baer misses a left over the head. Here's Marciano with a vicious punch. Marciano reaches the chin with a leaping left hand. Marciano drives a right hard to the temple. Baer misses a left over the head. Here's Marciano with a vicious punch to the chin from the left side. Baer has made a good run, but he still looks second best as they move into a clinch just overhead. Still, you have to have great respect for Baer. He still is, of course, most dangerous. His punches still carry power, natural power at least. On the break, Marciano lands a light left and right to the head. Baer is in a deep crouch, and there's the bell.
Both men looked okay in round 9. Marciano's cut seems controlled. Both faces showing swelling. There's the bell. Here's God.
Baer does appear under some duress as he comes on for round 10, but in the heavyweight division one never knows, and one also can see the most sudden reversal of fortune in this very same heavyweight division. Rocky Marciano and Max Baer. Baer comes open, jabs with the left hand, then charges at Marciano and mauls Marciano's arm. That's a reverse. He mauls it with the right hand. That was the first time tonight Baer did that. They move into a clinch immediately as Marciano, driven a couple of feet back, just clung to the body of Baer. And now referee Ruby Goldstein comes out to separate them. And Baer whips at the body of Marciano, and in self-defense, Marciano agrees to another time huddle immediately. Now, just above my microphone, Ruby Goldstein tows them out to the center of the ring once more, and I get a look at them. Marciano's face is lumped and bumped. Baer's hammer-like blows have raised knots on the forehead and mountains above the eyes. Baer's hair is tousled. He's dented in a few places at the face, and he shows battle streaks and burns. Now in the center of the ring, Baer goes to the jab and puts a left jab to the mouth, a left jab to the chin. Marciano puts a light left to the head, and again, Baer rushes him. Marciano is nearly knocked off his feet as Baer pumps a right to the body, and they move to another clinch, about the third clinch in a little more than a minute, and we haven't had too many other clinches for the entire fight. Apparently, Baer's corners advise him he's not strong enough to take the vicious consequences of being charged in turn like a bull by Marciano, a smaller man, though. They're separated again. Marciano, this time sparring from a semi-crouch. Baer in a semi-crouch. Marciano wings a hard left to the body, jams the arm to the right. Another left to the body by Marciano. Marciano hooks a hard left and right to the head. Baer's head is jarred. It travels backward with the impact of a right hand. There's a left and right to the head of Baer, and Baer is down. 2, 3, 4, 1 knee, 6, 7. He is up at the count of 9. Baer was down and is up again at the count of 9 with less than a minute left to go. And here is Rocky Marciano moving in again. Here's a left hand at the body, and Baer can take no more down there for the present. And he immediately goes into a clinch. He wants to hang on to try to make it for another round. Baer sunk from a brutal head attack. Rocky was perfect in marksmanship, very clear. Now, they're brought out to the center of the ring. Marciano swiftly lands a right to the head, and Baer whacks the body with both hands, and Marciano sends two screaming rights to the head, which nearly rip Baer's head off. Baer is racked up against the ropes. He's not going to be able to take too much of this, but Baer, still gamely, lands a good left to the head. Here's Marciano jumping up and down like on a pogo stick, reaching for Baer's head and chin. And Marciano is now moving in again. Here's a left and right to the head, and there's the bell.
Baer showed the effects of that solid knockdown by Marciano, and there's no question he was really jolted. Marciano's eyes started bleeding again, but it's under control. Here's Guy.
Baer is a big man. The power he must have stored up in that frame serves him well. I think his humor does, too, in this situation. As we move to this round, the expectation is it could end right here. Baer comes out. He starts sticking at Marciano at once. Baer jabs the left of the mouth of the Brockton blockbuster. Baer falls backwards from a hard jolt at the body. Baer astounds Rocky, though, and everybody here, ripping a good left to the body and moving out of range. Rocky follows, though, to cloud him again. Baer has the audience on his side right now. They've always loved the big fighting clown, and if Rocky is to beat him, they want it done humanely, if there is such a thing. Here's Baer again at the jab post, jabbing again at the mouth of Rocky Marciano. Rocky taking it easy, puts left and right hook to the head, and Baer ties him up. Let's see now. Rocky's nose is bleeding again. The jab worked. Baer, by the way, is not famous for making a comeback fight. But Rocky's size and his manner of fighting in some way persuades Baer to go on, although he has taken a hard licking. Baer, though, has given plenty on his own, and he is still dangerous. Out at the center of the ring now, Baer and Rocky Marciano. Max Baer menaces Rocky again, and Rocky, a superb workman in the ring in many ways, simply will not play theater with him. Rocky keeps stalking Max. Max seems to be getting a little stronger. The winner of this match, by the way, goes to the semifinal, and there is that $10,000 belt waiting at the end of the rainbow for the eventual winner. Here's Rocky flashing at Baer. Here's Rocky driving a straight right to the body. Baer returns a straight right to the head, and it brings his head into range, unfortunately. And Rocky thunders a vicious uppercut to the chin with the left, follows that with a right to the head, and Baer is rocked and hurries immediately into a clinch and pass. Wow. Here is the referee. Max shakes his head to clear the bells out. He hears, I'm sure. And I see now that Max is cut badly on the mouth. Here on the break, Rocky swarms in. Rocky drives a good left to the body. Max drags him into close quarters. Rocky puts two good shots to the ribs, while Max massages Rocky's head pretty good. Now they tie each other up again. You always have to pay something, as I've said, when you go into a clinch with Baer, and it's also true in going into a clinch with Marciano. And Baer has trenches in his side to bear witness to what we've just mentioned. On the break at the center of the ring, Baer suddenly lowers the hands, bombs away at the Rock with a good left and right, and Rocky for the moment is caught short and surprised, but recovers. Max, however, shifts the attack. Here's Max now putting a good straight right to the head, but that's all the scoring he's likely to do right now because Rocky has him jammed up against the ropes with seconds left. Here's Rocky, a straight right to the head. Max rarely misses a shot over Rocky's head. Rocky comes back, left jab, right to the mouth, and Max's head is just open territory. There's the bell.
That last round was a bloodbath. Baer bleeding from the mouth. Marciano's nose split wide open again. Even Ruby Goldstein was splattered, and here's Guy LeBeau.
Max Baer certainly cannot sustain any offense, but Rocky, I think, too, is beginning to feel the length and punishment of this battle.
Baer comes out jabbing. Baer is many things to all. Here's Baer putting that left jab to work, and just when he is fooling and when he is seriously going to knock your head off is very hard to discern. Here's Baer coming to the center of the ring once more after a retreat. Baer jabs nicely again to the head of Marciano, who is bobbing and weaving and lets one or two jabs go by. Rocky has marvelous facility at the hips. Many times we've seen him go through duck waddling exercises to keep loose at the joints. There jabs again at Rocky, who keeps coming in very low, but I see now that Rocky's nose has been mashed again and is bleeding, and bleeding badly, so apparently the jabs were hard and they were on the button. Here's Rocky missing a left hook at the head as Big Max pulls back, and suddenly they're facing each other again. Here's Rocky feinting with his own left, but fires a strong right to the head of Max Baer, and Baer moves into an immediate clinch. Here's referee Ruby Goldstein coming out of a neutral corner to separate them. Baer is a good-looking guy in his way, and I've heard women at parties say, gee, isn't it a shame Max might ruin his boyish good-looking features. Out of ring center again, it is Baer starting, and Baer fires a straight right at Rocky's mouth, and the Rock goes off licking his wound. Rock is bleeding from the nose. Baer hurt the nose a few moments ago. Baer wants to stay after the Rocky comes back. He doesn't have to worry about that, though. Rocky is seeing to it that he has company. Here's Rocky swarming in. Rocky jams a high blast at Baer's head with the right, and Max actually fell 2 or 3 feet back. Rocky after him. Rocky hooking a hard left to the head, another left to the head by Rocky, and Baer in return sends left and right to the body as he recovers. But he is now getting murdered at the head again, and somebody should really tell him. Here's Rocky firing a straight right and left to the head again, and Baer seeks to clinch. He is taking brutal punishment at the top piece. Baer shows his weariness, I think, each time that Rocky really goes gunning, and the first blow that Rocky hits him with brings out the pain of what has gone before. About 45 seconds remaining in round 12. This is a scheduled 15-rounder. Baer has taken massive punishment. He has before, but not for so long a time. But the NCR 315 records Max Baer as one of the strongest heavies and one of the hardest punchers in the game. In fact, Rocky's nose is gushing blood. It really looks very bad. At the break at the center of the ring now, Baer wants to jab that nose again. Rocky seeks to drape Max over the ropes. He's worried about it. Baer puts a light left and right to the body, but Rocky rips a straight right to the head again. Baer falls back once more at the ropes. Baer keeps jabbing at Rocky. Rocky goes into more and pounds the body, pounds the arms, and there's the bell.
They may never get the Rock's nose back together again. He was covered with gore clear to the waist. Ruby Goldstein checked him in the corner, but is letting it go on. Here's Guy LeBeau.
Rocky bleeding, Baer badly battered. We'll be watching the condition of both men. Now at the center of the ring, Baer suddenly springs at Rocky, fires a left jab and right cross arm to the face. Rocky falls back. Rocky throws a right to the body in turn, but he is charged right back to the ropes by Baer. Baer may have been saving for this round. He certainly looks strong. Max fires a solid left and right to the head. Rocky is trying to wing, but Max is coming on too fast. Max is hitting Rocky's open head with everything he has and scoring. Rocky is reeling. Rocky is hurt. Max is swinging at long range. Rocky trying to cover up. Max wraps him hard at the midsection. 2 more shots to the head, a left and right to the jaw, and Rocky goes down. 3, 4, 5. He's all right. He'll be up at 8 taking the mandatory count, but this crowd at Miami Convention Hall is stunned from deep weariness. Baer turns the record book into a shambles and puts Rocky down. It's a great reversal of form. Ruby Goldstein is now cleaning off the gloves of Rocky Marciano, and here he is pushing the go button. And Baer charges at Rocky. Rocky slips his head to the left as Baer throws a right, but Rocky is not giving ground. Rocky is not covering. Rocky has decided to fight it out with blood streaming heavily down off his face, off his nose. He's going to fight it out. Here's Rocky hooking 2 hands to the head of Baer. Baer is standing slightly off to the center of the ring, winging at Rocky with left and right. But Rocky is strong as a herd of cattle in panic, you think. He is fully recovered. Rocky fires a vicious left to the body, a left and right to the head, a blockbuster to the head of Baer, and Baer is down. Baer is down. 4, 5, 6. He's getting up. He'll make it all right. Up now at the count of 9, but this is incredible. Rocky down, Baer down. Maybe it's Goldstein turn next. Al Goldstein has Baer out in the center of the ring, wiping off the gloves, and there's the green light. Rocky immediately at Baer's throat. Baer is still firing. He hits Rocky's chin with a good hook. Baer takes a blasto at the head and face from Marciano. Rocky has him against the ropes. Baer feebly lands on the head. Rocky is grinding him down. Rocky is at his throat. Rocky hits him with brutal hammer shots to the head and jaw. Baer is weakening. Baer feebly throwing his hands out, not really throwing in any direction. Rocky rips left and right to the body that hurt Baer. Rocky sends a 1-2 to the head of Baer. Baer is just trying to grab Marciano's hands. Rocky now from a very, very low crouch rips Baer's mouth, rips his jaw. Rocky pounds the jaw on Baer's head. Baer cannot defend himself anymore. Baer is defenseless, hands falling at his side, and Ruby Goldstein is stopping this fight. Ruby Goldstein is stopping this fight. It's over. It's over. Baer was defenseless, and Rocky has won it by a TKO. Rocky Marciano has won it by a TKO after being on the mat earlier this round. I think that Baer had decided he had only enough left for this round if he could only knock Marciano's nose apart. And he was only operating on nerve, but what nerve that was, and real ring courage. He took everything he could and then could take no more. Rocky goes on to the semifinals, and here is Murray to tell you about it.
What a finish, what a final round. The big man, Big Max Baer, came out of his corner with a do-or-die look and slammed home the shots that drove Marciano down. But the 5'10" Brockton blockbuster came bouncing back off the canvas to deck Max, winging at him with both hands. And after Max managed to get back on his feet, simply demolished him with solid right and left hands to the head and body. Baer was hanging on the ropes, unconscious, but not on the mat. Marciano rocking his head back and forth with left and right hand punches. And Ruby Goldstein stepped between them and said, "That's enough. It's all over." And Marciano racks up a TKO win over the great Max Baer. Now, Paul Berman is in the ring for the official announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, the NCR computer indicated that Baer is completely defenseless. Referee Ruby Goldstein stops the fight in 2 minutes, 40 seconds of the 13th round. The winner by a 13th round TKO, the Brockton Blockbuster, Rocky Marciano.
Well, that's it. The official result. Baer absorbing punishment at a superhuman rate finally reached his limit. Badly battered and defenseless. And Ruby Goldstein steps in to end the brutal beating.
We'll be back in a moment with a summary of tonight's fight and a look at next week's bout. Well, for sheer savagery of battle, I don't believe anyone has ever seen anything like this fight tonight between Baer and Marciano. Rock, very much the smaller man, started throwing punches when the bell sounded. For the first round, he never stopped. This has been a bloodbath, a real war.
War's the right word, Guy, and Rocky, fighting his normal pattern, simply hit everything in sight until the bigger Baer just had nothing left to fight back with. Rocky was shook, there's no question about that, when some of those looping bombs of Baer's came through, but seemed to come back punching even harder after each of those Baer shots landed. This one must go down as one of the best fights in the tournament and of all time.
You know, it's really incredible, Maury, that Marciano simply soaks up punches, keeps throwing leather. He's like a machine in there. It's got to really shake an opponent to belt him and find that he's still coming in.
Well, once again tonight, Guy, our favorite was pretty well defined. I don't remember too many of the people we've talked with who favored Baer in this one. Now Rocky goes in against next week's winner between Cassius Clay and Jim Jeffries. And it's a cinch that Rocky's going to have to be careful about that nose.
Especially if it's Clay, Murray. Clay's speed, his foot and hand speed. They give him a wonderful chance to cut up any fighter in the world who's vulnerable.
Well, Clay might not get there. You have to remember that. Anyway, next week's fight gives us two contrasting types again. Clay, the hit-and-run, modern-day champion. Jim Jeffries, the Boilermaker. A giant of a man with power and endurance.
Just as a reminder, our tournament is shaping up now, you know. Week after next, in the first round of the semifinals, Jack Dempsey, Joe Louis. This has to be almost the all-time dream match. The following week, Marciano fights the winner of the Clay Jeffries affair.
Well, Clay got here by knocking off Max Schmeling in astounding fashion in the first round of the tournament. Cassius was down once in the 7th round, but he overwhelmed Max with a continuous flurry of punches and won 11 of the 15 rounds. Jeffries flat wore out Joe Walcott with body shots and knocked him out in the 10th round. Of course, Clay is a very controversial figure. Boxing is full of those, and there's no question at all anywhere about his fighting equipment. And you take Jack Sharkey, for example. There's a guy who spoke right out on every subject. In addition to being an entertaining guy, he's also very forceful. And Jack doesn't pull any punches about thinking Clay can fight.
Well, I've selected him from his first bout. Well, Clay is in there for a long time, and as I say, that he'll die of old age unless someone drops a bag of cement in his head as he's walking down the street, and he's a good fighter. Don't make any mistakes about it. You take a young fella that's going through the mill, fought all of these so-called great guys he's heard so much about, and with a guy with a chip on his shoulder, and he's 21, 22, 23 years old, it's going to be a hard man to beat.
We asked Jim Braddock, another great ex-champion, about Clay's technique.
You see, he's the type of fellow, he's so fast. For a heavyweight, his speed is phenomenal. Nobody's ever been that fast as a heavyweight. And he more or less tires the fella out just chasing him because the other fella's tense at all times looking to punch him. And he's not punching, but he's tense and he's tiring himself out. And by the time 3 or 4 rounds comes around, he's ready to be taken.
How about Clay with Jeffries?
Well, Jim would have to catch him. Jim could he couldn't hurt Jim that much that walking in him would hurt him that much. Jim could take a great punch, as I say. He was the Boilermaker, and he's built like a boiler.
We'll be right back with more comments on Clay and Jeffries. Even Nat Fleischer of Ring Magazine, who puts great stress on speed but generally favors the old-time fighters to the present-day ones, likes Muhammad Ali's swiftness.
He is not a sharp hitter. He's not a great hitter. At least so far he has not demonstrated that because the type of individuals he has met have not given him the opportunity to display his true self, as he says. However, when he does strike out, especially with his jab, he does sting. And in jabbing and in speed, I'd say he's the equal of anybody I've seen in the last 50 years.
Well, I guess you'd call that a reluctant endorsement. But we've talked to lots of fighters who are less reluctant to think of Clay as the complete fighter. For example, Joe Walcott.
I think Clay is the greatest heavyweight champion we've ever had. I think he boxes as well as any champion we've had, and I think he knows what he's doing while he's in that ring.
But Joe Louis is not quite that sure that Clay is tops.
But about Clay, we don't know really, nobody knows really how good Clay really is because really nobody around to give him a real good fight. He's so much over his opponents now until, that he don't have to worry about making mistakes because he knows he can make a mistake and get away with it.
If you were planning to fight Clay, would you make any special plans on how you would approach the fight?
Well, in no other way I could fight Clay, but just keep him going back. See, Clay going back, he have no punch at all. He have nothing.
Jim Jeffries was 6'2½", weighed 225 pounds, and it's amazing he won the heavyweight championship of the world in his 13th professional fight, beating Ruby Bob Fitzsimmons when Jeffries was 24. Jeffries, they say, was a club fighter in club fighter style. But he really knew how to whack away at the body. He had his opponents on the floor 22 times in 23 fights. He was down only twice himself. He was a magnificent, a durable specimen who boxed well for his time. Not much of a defensive fighter or a counterpuncher. He did it all with power and an outstanding physique. We'll be back in one moment. Muhammad Ali is 6'3", weighs 211 pounds, so he's no little man himself. He's 22, at the peak of his career, has an 82-inch reach, which is surprisingly enough over 6 inches more than Jeffries' reach. Clay has won all 29 of his pro fights, 24 by knockouts. He's a great combination puncher, especially effective with the left jab to the head and the right hand. His defense and counterpunching ability would be hard to beat. Clay took the title away from Sonny Liston on a technical knockout in 1964 here in Miami, and has successfully defended his title against everybody that wanted to fight him ever since. Here's how Cassius Clay thinks he's going to do in this tournament.
Well, if that computer's accurate, I'd win with all of them. If you tell the truth about it, because, well, you know, you never see no scratches on me. Well, these men today can't hit me, and I don't see why they should have hit me. I'm taller than them. I'm faster. They all were flat-footed. Dempsey, Tony, Marciano, Jack Johnson, Joe Louis. All of them were shufflers. They couldn't catch me.
Well, I don't have to tell you fans that was Muhammad Ali himself. We asked him what he thought of modern fighters as against the old-timers.
Go watch the old films. If you don't believe it, they fought like washwomen. I saw them. They fight just like women. I was at Jim Jacobs' studio. He's got all the films of the real heavyweights, and if you see them, they had no class, no footwork, no speed, no color, no timing, no rhythm. They swung from the floor. When the man would fall, he would hit him before he'd get up. When the man would fall out of the ring, he wouldn't let him get in the ring. If I did it today, they'd say I'm the dirtiest fighter in the world.
We talked with Hank Kaplan of the World Boxing Historians Association, a man who spent a lot of time studying the data on the old-time fighters. Is one of the few people qualified to really talk about Jim Jeffries and Cassius Clay. We asked him what kind of fighters was Jeffries.
Was one of the strongest men of the heavyweight division. This guy was a real bull. He was a hard puncher. He was a guy who could take it till the cows came home. And I mean take it. A lot of his fights reflect his ability to take it for many, many rounds. And then suddenly he would erupt in the later rounds and knock his opponent out.
Well, how about Cassius Clay now?
Cassius Clay, you might say, a revolution in boxing. He introduced a type of speed which we have never known before. I don't think Cassius Clay is a great puncher either with his left or his right, yet he has knocked out several hardy opponents. But twice in his career, he has been decked by what I believe to be ordinary fighters, and he hasn't been put to the supreme test yet as far as taking a punch is concerned.
How about a fight between Jeffries and Clay?
I believe Cassius Clay would overwhelm Jeffries for the first 6 rounds. He would not be too aggressive as far as his right hand is concerned, since he fears the retaliatory effect of the Jeffries power. I believe Jeffries would come on after the 7th or 8th round, and the first series of good blows that he hits Clay with, he'll knock him out.
There seems to be some question about what kind of shape Jeffries was in when he came out of retirement to fight Jack Johnson. So, we thought we'd talk to Big Jeff Swillard about it, who ought to know.
Jim Jeffries, a great, big, rugged fellow, a hard fellow to beat. Very tough man. I mean, when he was in his prime. Of course, when he fought Johnson, he was gone. He was all out and was sick man. Before he went into the ring, he was sick.
And, of course, we want to hear from Angelo Dundee, who manages Clay.
Cassius Clay, I think he will go down in history as the greatest heavyweight of all time, barring nobody. I think he would have beat every heavyweight, without a doubt in my mind. He could do everything and do it well. He could have boxed you. He could have outfought you. He could have surrounded you. He could have chased you if he wanted to. He has never shown his complete repertoire, but he never had to.
All right, now what about his courage?
I have to say he got all kinds of courage. First of all, because anyone with 138 amateur fights, anyone that's undefeated heavyweight champion, you got to have a lot of courage. He'll fight anybody. This proves his guts. The episode with Liston is overdone. The episode, if I was in his position, I probably would have jumped out of the ring. Because here you are in a fight, fighting for the championship of the world. You're a young kid, 22, and here you are, you can't see. So what are you going to do? Are you going to get in there and try to fight? I think the reaction was hysteria. It wasn't lack of guts. It was nothing of the kind. He just couldn't see. And he wanted everybody to know that something was being done to him.
We'll be back in just a minute with tonight's wrap-up. Well, that's about it from Miami Convention Hall, where tonight Rocky Marciano eliminated Max Baer on a 13th round TKO.
to go into the semifinals of the all-time heavyweight tournament. Next week, same time, same station, it's Cassius Clay against Boilermaker Jim Jeffries, and the winner gets the 4th position in the heavyweight semifinals. Don't miss it. Until then, this is Murray Warner
and Guy LeBeau. Thanks for listening. See you next week.